In 1960, 96% of Americans were Christians. And you fast forward to today, and that number is down to 61%, and on a steady decline of 1% a year. And as the hope of Jesus has been removed from our world, hopelessness has taken its place. Depression, suicide, overdoses, lawlessness, homelessness, man, they're all on the rise. Just turn on the news or walk down the street. It's all around us. And as believers, we can't be shocked that our numbers are dwindling and that our world is erupting in chaos because we're not sharing the gospel, which is the number one thing that Jesus commanded us to do. Some of Jesus' first words to his disciples were, "I'll make you fishers of men." And some of his last words were instructing them and us to be his witnesses to the world. Yet 95% of believers go through their entire life without ever sharing their faith. And when the remaining 5% do share their faith, it's more and more often falling on deaf ears. Why? Because the audience that we're speaking to has changed. But the way that we begin these conversations haven't. And we've been taught to begin these conversations the same way they did in 1960, when 98% of people professed to believe in God. Man, today that number's down to 84%. And if you're talking about people with absolute certainty, it's more like 50%. So beginning a conversation with the Bible verse just oftentimes doesn't work when the person we're speaking to places no authority on the Bible, or worse, doesn't even believe God exists. And so, what can we do to make a difference and to turn the tide? Because it's so easy to think, man, the world's going downhill. What can I do about it, right? One person can't make a difference. But what I'm going to show you is how one person, you, can do this very small thing, something that won't cost you a penny, and potentially make a huge difference. And if believers all around the world began to do this small thing together, how we could potentially help make a massive impact on our world and for God's kingdom. Man, and I don't know about you, but man, that gets me fired up. And my hope is that God's touching your heart right now and getting you fired up too. A few years back, God began to place this burning desire in my wife and I to reach the unchurched. And he led us to create a new evangelism resource that's, again, absolutely free. And it was intended to break through the walls that have been built up around people's hearts and minds by this pluralistic and ever-shifting culture that we find ourselves in, so that they'll be open to the never-changing truth, hope, grace, and love of Jesus Christ. When you visit youhavepurpose.org, you'll find 5 brief films. The total runtime for the whole thing is just 38 minutes. And we created these with filmmaker Sean Cunningham, who's produced Amazon documentaries and worked with the NFL, Manchester United, Netflix. I'm bragging on him, but he's awesome. And they're meant to be thought-provoking and engaging, but also to show how all of history, all of nature, and right down to our genetic code points towards Jesus, and how accepting his sacrifice and placing our faith in him is the only conceivable and rational conclusion to the void in the human condition. And so first, man, I would encourage you to watch the series. Again, it's just longer than a Seinfeld episode. Man, we have heard over and over that it has reaffirmed the faith of so many believers. And also how parents are now watching it with their teenagers before they leave their house for college to help ground them in the truth. And then next, man, share the link with people in your life that need to hear the message. And I've done this and the results have been awesome. Man, people who I never thought would watch or positively respond, man, they've ended up sharing it with more people than I could have ever imagined. And then share the link on social media. And you can sow hundreds or even thousands of gospel seeds in a matter of minutes. And as Jesus tells us, some of those seeds are bound to fall on fertile soil. And then finally, if you, your church, your ministry, your small group, it doesn't matter. If you'd like to use these resources in any way, you'll see right there on the site where you can download the full 4K videos, absolutely free. And so today, man, I'm asking you, will you join with us in fulfilling this great commission that Christ has given us? And will you share this link with that person or those people that God has placed on your heart? And will you begin to pray daily that His Spirit make an impact on their life and in this world?